Hi, this is Cece, and for Scrapbook Centrale, I welcome you to episode 3 of Art Journaling 101. Last week, we played with Tim Holtz products. This week's showcase is with Claudine Helmet's products. And we have a variety of surfaces that we're going to play with this week. We have canvas here, and we have craft paper. And these are 2 envelopes that we're going to cover up and insert a few tags in there. So before we begin, let me show you what you're going to need to create this week's pages. As usual, you'll need your craft mat by Ranger and a heat tool. I'll also be using this collapsible water cup by Faber-Castell. This cup is great for traveling and for easy storage. When you take it out of the package, you're just going to simply push the bottom out and it unfolds into this nice size cup. It is very sturdy, and what's great about this cup also is its scallop ridge, which holds your brushes without them falling. You'll also need a couple of brushes of various sizes, a pair of scissors. We'll use 3 stamp sets by Claudine Helmet Studio line, the Bloom Jumbo Foam Stamp, the Bloom Jumbo Clear Stamp Set, and the Words and Frames 2 Clear Stamp Set. Jet Black Archival ink and Pumice Stone Distress ink with an ink applicator tool as well as foam. Also from the Claudine Helmet Studio collection, we'll use gesso and these 4 colors of semi-gloss acrylic paints. I have yellow pastel, sky blue, altered orange, and blank canvas. We'll also need the matte multi-medium. Terminology tissue wrap by Tim Holtz Ideology. Tim Holtz Ideology journaling tickets as well as the Adage tickets. Tim Holtz Tiny Attacher. Perfect Pearls Mist in the Perfect Pearl color. And My Mind's Eyes, The Sweetest Thing decorative tape. Before I start applying my gesso, I just want to fray the edges a little bit more just to give it more interest. So I'm just going to rip some of those threads that I've already started to fray, like this. As usual, I will protect my other pages, in this case the envelopes, with a piece of wax paper before I start applying the gesso. So I'm just going to insert that in between here. I want a generous amount. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this over the gesso part, and I'm going to leave it there to dry. You'll notice that while it's drying that your paper might buckle up a bit, so just take a dry rag and just press down onto the tissue paper so that all the little creases and bubbles actually seep into the gesso. Let me show you what it looks like from up close. It's tough to see, but there's kind of like a crease here, which is absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to speed up the process and use my heat tool on this. The next step is to remove or to tear away the tissue wrap, and I've already started here by just pulling on the tissue. There, and as you can see, I had some places where it wasn't completely dry, so the tissue paper was pulling, and I kind of like that effect. I also like the fact that we can actually see the canvas through the texture of the canvas through the tissue paper, which is quite interesting, and you can feel it with your fingers, which is a lot of fun. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but you can kind of see the canvas texture. Alright, so I'm going to take advantage of the spaces on my acrylic page where is opaque as opposed to this middle part here, which you can see through, and I'm going to start stamping the elements that will be on the other page, just sort of to announce them. So I'm going to turn the page. I know that here in this corner I have some room to stamp, and I'm going to bring back my wax paper. So this is from the Bloom and Jumbo Clear Stamp Set, and I'm just going to grab that flower and an acrylic block. and the pumice stone distress ink. I don't want something too dark because we have the acrylic page right over it and I don't want to distract the attention. So I'm going to start here just to give it another fun layer. So I might just do here in the corner, but for this I think I'm going to remove the stamp from the acrylic block because the ring binding is kind of in my way. I'm just going to grab my flower like this, live dangerously, and just apply it like that. There we go. So you can kind of see here. I might even go in and color this a little bit, but before I do that, I'm just going to make sure it's dry because this is distress ink. It's not archival ink. And I think I want to do some up top here in the corner right here. Here we go. I've got altered orange and yellow pastels, semi-gloss acrylic paint. I'm going to start with the orange. Just going to put a little dab here on my craft mat. And I will just color some parts of the flowers in like that. And I don't want full coverage. I just want something very distressed in look. I'm going to rinse my brush and I'm going to do some yellow in the center of each flower. Again, I'm going to pick up some water and just dilute it. This is what it looks like, just a fun element on this page, just sort of to announce what we're going to do on the other page. And this is not completely dry, so I don't want to touch it to the other page, but if you look at it from this point of view, you can't really tell that we have flowers on the other side. So we're going to let that dry. On this page, I'm going to use both these stamp sets. So I'm going to use the foam stamp as well as the acrylic stamp that goes right over that. And I want to work on a partially gessoed surface, so I'm not going to put gesso all over. So I think I'm going to apply the gesso all over here because I do want to paint directly on the canvas for this particular page. I'm going to bring in my brush and just start applying the gesso. Remove this and then start drying. Be careful when you dry on this side. If you're using a heat tool, you do have an acrylic page right underneath. I'm going to flip my journal like this and dry it. And now I want to apply a wash of the sky blue paint. So I'm going to let this dry again, or you can speed up the process like I do. Look at that gorgeous texture. I love it. I'm going to bring first my foam stamp, which is this one here, and I'm going to apply 3 colors of paint. I'm going to take a dry brush because I want a good amount of paint on the foam, but I do want my stamp colored in different paint, so I'm going to do one color at a time. And again, you don't have to be perfect, but I want quite a good amount of paint on this. Let's see how that turns out. If it's not nice, we'll just gesso over it. Oh, yay! That's cool. So to stamp the outline of our flower, I'm going to try it with the pumice stone. If it's too light, then I'll go over with the archival ink. I'm just going to put pumice stone all over this. And let's see what that does. Ooh, that's nice. What do you think? For the stem, I have those sayings from the Words and Frames 2 set, and I'm going to use these to make the stem of the flower. Alright, so I want to show you what I did here. I placed 4 of these sentiments or sayings right here upside down on the page. And I'm going to take my acrylic blot and just stick them on there. So now I have perfect placement for the stem with the words. And I'm going to take pumice stone again. Okay, so I'm going to stamp this way and going to give it enough time for the ink to really soak up well onto the gesso and the canvas part. And there we have our stem. So I want to make some leaves here at the bottom portion of the flower. I want to take a scrap piece of tissue paper. I'm going to stamp with the pumice stone right over the tissue paper like so. You can see this here. So I have this dried up and I'm going to take my scissors and just cut around the stamped line like so. So I'm going to use my matte multi-medium